So I thought I would do a look at this model, which is kind of interesting for several different reasons. And it's going to be this kit here. Not a kit that most people would have, because it was probably only been issued once. And I believe the last time it was issued, it had a different kind of truck. I forget what it was. I think it was might have been a Datsun or something, or the Chevy Love. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Yeah, let's take a look at this. Throw that up there. Now, a lot of people may not know what this race car is, but the Malibu Grand Prix were racetracks, small racetracks that were set up, and you would go and actually pay to race these cars around the track. These cars were, if I remember correctly, are powered by, it's a rotary engine that only has one rotor. Like your typical rotary engine in a Mazda has two, like your RX-3, RX-7, and so on. It's a two rotor engine, and this one only has one rotor. It's not necessarily made by Mazda, because in Japan different rotaries were used for all kinds of things, including they used to use it for generators. Like you get a generator, it might have one, two, or a large generator might have 8 or 10 rotors in it or whatever. So just depending on what it was. So they're a little more common in Japan, but they're very unique cars, and not everywhere were these tracks. Across the U.S., they weren't everywhere. So if you didn't live near one of these tracks, you probably never saw one of these cars, or didn't know what they were. And that's why this may be an odd issued kit to you. I don't think you would ever see these cars on TV or anything like that. It's not a racing type of thing. When you race these cars, you're racing against the time on the track. How fast can you go around the track? And it was a small track, but not really any straightaways, so to speak. So it was just a matter of going through all the different kinds of turns as fast as you could. Now, when you went there, they actually issued you a license. And what's funny is I still have mine, and this is there's no real date. I think the date on it is, I want to say the date is around I think it says 1981. So pretty old. But you got, I don't know that you had to take a test or anything. It was probably a safety written test if they had one or something, but I'm not even sure they had that. I just don't remember. It was way too long ago. But if you had this license, you could race on any of these tracks across the country. So it just meant that in here, it just means you've read and signed a liability release agreement or whatever, in case you crashed the car or something. You wore a helmet when you were racing these cars, but it's an open wheel car. So yeah, that was a long time ago. And actually, I worked for a company that was motor car related, and they had an annual, I want to say it was like a Christmas party or something, so to speak, or around the holidays in December. They had a party at the end of the year, and the employees went to the track, and because of this event, you didn't need a license, but you were able to drive around the track. And there was actually a guy there who was actually a race car driver, and of course he won the trophy for the event because he was an actual race car driver. All the rest of us were far below the time that he could set. But anyway, that's the story behind these cars. And just to take a look at the kit, this is it's a pretty fair size Revell box, and it's a flimsy box, and it opens up like so. But let's take everything out of here so we can look at this a little bit. And now the side of this one comes with a Chevy 4-wheel drive pickup truck. Yeah, it's a Chevy, just to make sure it's not a GMC. Just square body, like many of the other ones that Revell has, or if they got a monogram mold, they would have that one. And then pictures of the race car. This kit also, this combo also includes a trailer. So I did not open these. I didn't think they were going to be so packaged up, but let's take a quick look here. This kit to me was originally probably a snap together kit. It's very simple. I don't know necessarily it was a monogram, because the whole kit it says on the box that it's 1/25th scale. So it was probably actually a Revell kit from day one. But so it just has, let's tilt this down a little bit. So we've just got, all-in-one suspension for the front and the rear. It's a 4-wheel drive, of course. We have the chassis here. Everything's molded in. The engine has like not an insert necessarily, but it's already molded in. The bottom half of the engine is already molded into the frame. So is the exhaust. Big square marks, holes on where to locate the suspension. So like I said, this is probably more or less was originally a snap together. I'm sure there's other people out there that know this kit better than I do. Plastic wheels, not a big deal to me, but these look like they snap on. This is the upper half of the engine it goes in the engine bay. It does have an opening hood. Step bumper. There's your Chevy grill. The headlights are molded in. Racing style steering wheel, right? The typical square body dashboard. I never owned a square body. My wife did, and we had that. We had a Chevy Blazer, 4-wheel drive, and when I met her, that was the truck that she drove. Well, actually, before that, she had a Camaro, but then she got that to drive. So I'm familiar with those trucks as far as a Blazer would go, but I never owned a pickup truck. Here we've got some jerry cans for fuel, roll cage, or roll bar I should say, another piece of the roll bar. It does have lights molded into the top here, but there's no real detail on them. There's some sink marks on the back. Here's a grill for the front, and that has a couple fog lights molded in, although they do have a texture on them, so they do have a little bit of a design on them. And let's take a look at this here. I like building pickup truck models, but I bought this kit for the nostalgia, obviously. But I still like to build pickup trucks, so there's a very nice square body. Now this is a short bed. It does have fender flares on it. They're already molded in there. So you could either paint them body color, I would imagine, or you could mask them off and paint them black so they look like plastic or something. But yeah, this is short body pickup. There's the engine. Of course, you got the bottom part was molded in the frame. The top part is a separate part. So this is like the middle. Not really detailed at all. I mean, you could take a Dremel tool and Dremel all that out, and the same thing for the chassis, and then put your own engine in it. But that'd be a lot of work. There's plenty of square bodies where you can get that everything would be separate. So it's kind of on the fence on whether that would be something you'd want to take the time to do or not. Other than it's a short bed. So, but everything else is molded in there. This is the jack's molded in there. Yeah, that's probably the heater car or heater motor, master cylinder, water bottle, something else. Your fan shroud and everything like that is molded in. There is some texture right here on the front for the radiator. It has a big hole in it though, like a seek mark. But that's probably where the grill snaps in. Let's see. Yeah, see the grill has a stud on it right there, sticking out of it. And I would imagine that's what goes through that hole on the radiator. I mean, like I said, this is probably a snap kit to begin with. So here's the separate hood. The wagon style wheels, usually white or silver. Those were popular wheels in the 70s and 80s. It does have like a standard air cleaner on it. Rear view mirrors, very tiny rear view mirrors. Interior, seats are molded in. Those have the typical center console there, and that actually looks like our Blazer did. Really, I mean, it had a huge center console there. Of course, that truck was big on the inside. These square bodies are huge on the inside as far as the interior. So this is the race car. So let's check it out if we can. If it's not child-proof. So here's the trailer first. Sorry I'm going so fast, but I mean, you may have already seen somebody show you this anyway. And I know that all of you are pretty knowledgeable about cars, so you know what you're looking at. Here's the trailer, there's the ramps. They are a little bowed, probably just because of the tightness of being shoved in the box. But yeah, it's got some bow to it, but I'm sure once you glue them down, they'll be fine. The trailer has a little bit of bow in it, but yeah, it'll be alright. So here's the wheels for the race car. They look like they snap on. Actually, those wheels are for the trailer. Because there's the two axles, and then that must be a center hub for the trailer. There's for the license plate for the trailer. And here's the leaf springs for the trailer. So that's a small trailer. I mean, there's no way you would get a full-size car on there, so you would have to haul like something on it that was small. And these cars, these rotary powered Malibu cars were small. I mean, you could easily get an adult in it, but that was about it. Now here's the engine here. So it does resemble a rotary, kind of. And like I said, it would only have one rotor in it, so it'd be like half the size of an engine that you see. When you see a two-rotor rotary engine in an RX-7, that engine literally is not much bigger than a 5-gallon bucket when you strip all the stuff off the bare engine. Rotaries only have 3 basic moving parts. They have an eccentric shaft and 2 rotors. And those are the 3 major parts of the engine. There's no valves, there's no camshaft, there's nothing. There's just 3 major parts. There's some minor moving parts like the oil pump and the chain and for the pump or whatever, stuff like that. And I've taken rotaries apart. I've had friends that raced them, and there's just not much to them. So this one would be even smaller. The wheels are really small on this. You can see the fronts are a little smaller than the rears. Again, they look like they snap on. There's a little wing. Here's the interior bucket and the roll bar that goes on the back of the seat. Here's the body section. And the rear differential. The engine was in the back, of course, on these cars, so the differential's in the back. There's the front suspension, steering column, steering wheel. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look online I'll look online, and if I can find anything that's interesting, like a video of these cars racing or something like that, boy, it'd almost have to be a whole movie, because those tracks closed up not too long ago. So, I mean, maybe 20 years ago, I think those tracks, most of them closed up. The one that we had here in Florida, it closed up. Boy, you know, where that track was, there wasn't a lot. There was plenty of room. There was plenty of acreage, but now that's all been developed. So it's long gone. There's nothing left of it. It's a parking lot or a mall store now. So it's long gone. So I'll have to see if there's any videos or anything, and if there is, I'll put a link in the description below, and then you can check it out, see what you think. I had fun with those cars. I enjoyed driving them. I forget how much it cost, because you had to go over there and do that. But yeah, let's see. There was some decals with this. So you get decals for not just the truck, but also the race car. So you got 4x4 for the truck, and then the Virage. I guess that was the name of the type of race car that it was, but I'm not sure. But it's got the Malibu Grand Prix logo right here, so a bunch of numbers, gumball, it looks like, or something like that. But yeah, that's cool. I'll have to look online too. I'd like to, I don't really remember what the colors were on those cars. I mean, I know the box shows that it's yellow, but I honestly don't remember it being yellow. But I'll have to look online, and maybe I'll get lucky and find some pictures of them. I don't know what happened to those cars once they all closed down. Those cars are probably sitting in a junkyard or something somewhere, or they got shipped. Somebody's got them, I would think. So, but yeah, I'll have to look that up and put some information in the description, so don't forget to check that out below. And that's all I've got to show you. I'm going to take a look in the directions here, just in case there's some more information. Oh, here it just says, see, it says back in the 80s, Malibu Grand Prix back in the 80s. I don't know why it says California, because I live in Florida, and that's where ours was. It's a Virage race kart, and that's it. No other information. Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to building the truck too. I mean, the truck's pretty cool. But I want to see if I can find some good pictures online of the race car first. And very simple. The race car looks like it's a snap kit too, so. But I think, yeah, see, it has the symbol here. It has the symbol with no glue. That's what it says. So that doesn't mean we can't improve the models just because they're a snap kit. But I'm sure there's ways we can make them better. And that said, I just wanted to show that off. There's the glass, one-piece glass. That's all. There was no windshield for the race car. I don't think it had. I don't remember it having a windshield at all. You did have to wear a helmet when you raced them, but I knew, of course, it had racing harness and all that stuff to keep you in the car. The cars were easy to spin out, but that's okay, because whenever you would spin out, you would end up in the grass, and then some guy, there were guys positioned in different parts of the racetrack, and they would just push the car back onto the track. Of course, your time was killed by then, because by the time they pushed you on the track and you got to the finish line, you weren't going to set any records, And I don't remember. Let's say the record for the track was like 1 minute and 22 seconds or something like that. It was very short, because the track wasn't very long, and those cars could really go. That's why they didn't I think that's why they never had any straightaways, because then once you opening that thing would just go and go and go. Rotary engines typically don't have much torque. They make all their power at top end. So that was another thing about racing them. Without a straightaway, you were never given a chance to really open that engine up. So that's it, and I hope you enjoyed it. You can like below and click the thumbs up if you don't mind. And I got a lot of recent subscribers recently, it seems like. I mean, the problem is I don't always look at the number all the time. So sometimes it jumps, and it seems like it jumps up, and then I'm like, what? I don't remember what it was last time. So I'm not real sure unless it's my imagination. But I appreciate everybody that subscribes, and I hope I'm making something that you like. I am working on my I've got two major models I'm working on. The Genesis Skyline is almost done, and then I had a little bit of a snafu with the 66 Fairlane, and not on the body though. The body's ready to go, but I had an issue that just perturbed me to no end, and finally by chance I got it solved. And so now I'm back on track on that, and I'm going to start finishing that up. I have the chassis painted, I have the body painted, but the front part of the chassis, the engine bay I should say, was just giving me a hard time, and which is silly because I've built that car probably 5 or 6 times, and then when that happens, you're like, why is this such a problem? I've done this many times before. I don't know whether I'm just tired or what it is. I've been busy at work, and I don't have a lot of time for modeling lately. Or if I do, I come in here, I work for maybe 20 minutes, a half an hour a day, and that's all I get, because I just got other stuff I have to do when I get home. And between that and work, it's just, it's brutal. Not that I'm complaining, that's life. We all have that problem. So we're all modelers, and people that work and live lives and have families, of course. I have a family. So, we set our priorities right, and that's what we do. I don't buy a lot of models necessarily. Compared to some people. But and only because I'm 2 reasons. One, I'm picky, and 2, I don't need a lot of models. So, but man, just looking at this body, that's a pretty sweet body, and it being a short bed, that's pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna let you go, and appreciate you watching. We'll catch you later on the next one.